So this will be how to cook a brisket hot and fast on a Pitboss. I'm sure everyone of the 3 subscribers I have to my videos are excited to learn about such a thing. There's fairly easy steps that go along with this. One is picking up a brisket. This one's fairly small at 24.5 pounds. But there is some weight to this one, quite large. I hope to keep the lack of film clarity steady as she goes on this one. There's literally no difference in cooking a regular brisket other than it doesn't suck the life out of you and take 24 hours or whatever. So here, I'm gonna stab it with a knife. That's step 1. When I come back, it should be trimmed. I'm gonna inject this one just for giggles. You don't have to. People like commenting about injecting versus not injecting, but I'm going to inject this one. So trim, and then we're going to put it on a cooker. Tomorrow, I'm going to let this one sit. Okay, I feel this first scene was excellent. So there are many brisket trimming videos on YouTube. I don't want to neglect the special technique I apply on such a large brisket. I like to This is the part where I'm going to inject. You don't have to inject. I'm choosing to this given point in time. When I do it, I kind of give it start at one end and just kind of go across, and you go across, and you keep doing that, and then I'll come back and go the opposite direction and whatnot. People always wonder what kind of injections folks are using. This is just kind of a beef base with pick your poison on like a Butcher's or like Cosmos or anything like that. I like to add a little hoisin sometimes, or sriracha. Sometimes I add lies and shame and sadness into this injection. Whatever you like, add it in, inject her up, don't inject her up, doesn't matter. Whatever you like to do. Whispers. So this new cooker that's at my friend's is fired up, and all people need to do, instead of cooking 225, you basically, it's a pretty complicated step. You take this dial here, and then you just go click, 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 and then you're spent. And that's it. Tree fitty. I don't need 37 hours to cook food. This is like step 6. I was doing this video for people that are interested. It's so thick. Look, let's measure it. Since this is a pretty big 24-pounder, shows that it fits on this Pitboss. But literally, the next step is just to season it with whatever the hell you want and put it on there. There, yeah, pretty hot. So here we are. This is like 3 hours in, slightly 3 hours in. We've been just running super hot. Hope it blows everyone's minds that this dial again can go to here. See here, 225. Just go click, 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 click. 350, right? But this thing looks pretty solid. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it smells like shame and sadness. Oh, I would just probably put it there just in case. Pretty solid, pretty delish. Not even that super dark on the bottom, but all the grease gets caught by this thing. So even running 350 at about 3.5 hours, we're gonna take it, put it in this raised pan. We're gonna shove a probe in it and get really adult, and then put it back in the cooker until it kind of gets in the temperature range where I think it's gonna be probe tender. But after that, we're pretty much we'll be pretty much done. This is not a complicated thing. Oh yeah. Or whatever. All right, the brisket's going back in. Complicated step number 3.
Wrapped in foil.
Wrapped in foil, and then you just put it back in, or paper, whatever you do. Butcher paper. Today we just happened to do the pan. Did you say Pam or pan? Pan. And then like you plug that probe in. It's gonna help us tell the temperature. But yeah, wrap it with butcher paper, whatever. It's in a raised pan, so it's not just sitting cooking in its juices. We're gonna stick that thing in and get weird. Lock it up. Seasoned brisket, put on smoker, cook till you want to wrap it, or you don't have to wrap. Who cares, right? Let's everyone fight. Post comments in this video for whoever follows this garbage. Post comments about the benefits of butcher paper for versus like foiling versus naked, and which is better, and then fight violently in those comments about, you know, fight to the death, swear to the death that one is better than the other. Videography, John. All right, we're at 206, which is when I'm cooking at 350, where I like to check it. We're just gonna see if it's done. There's no magical done temp. We don't hit 206 and see if it's good. Here, kind of yank this. Let's see if we can yank that a little bit out without it falling into my face hole. So it's gonna steam a little. What's Deanna doing? We're making a movie. You want to be a part of it? All right. Woo. Looks pretty good. So we're just going to kind of check to see if it's done. Oh, it's pretty close though. So again, the 206 is just the checking temperature. If I was cooking at 225, I might start checking it at 195. So now I'm just checking for probe tenderness. And here, get in there, Billy. Feel that thing. It's pretty smooth. I'm going to give this 30 more minutes. So after I hit my target, what I kind of consider my target temp, my baseline is, and you can feel how much smoother that is. Yeah, so this one's pretty close up in here, but there's no set like, hey, it hit 203 or it hit 206. It's not done then until you figure out what probe smoothness needs to be, which I actually have on my shitty YouTube channel, a bunch of videos on that. So now after this, I actually don't even need this probe anymore. I don't care what temperature it rises or gets to. Oh yeah, let's not let it fall out. That would be embarrassing. We're just gonna let it ride now and foil it back until it's done. I think this one needs about 30 more minutes until the main part of it gets done. So again, 203, 206. You gotta learn what probe temperature actually means. Feel feelings in life and not feel shame, and what I like to call Muppet sadness. I don't know what we're talking about right now. Thanks, John. So we're at 20 minutes now, past the last time we checked it. We're gonna check it again. So I think we're at 6 hours, 20 minutes, which for a 25-pound brisket actually isn't too bad. So let's slide it out. Let's feel how, oh God, it's so hot and burny. Oh, the heat. Oh, it feels so nice. So here, actually here, can you set it? It's done. Take it out and can you set it on the table? You got it? Can you take the...
Let's put it inside on the grid.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna hurt. Or whatever. I was just saying there's better light so I can display what we're going to display here. Oh, you're fine. Just
put that rack on the table, then put it on the table.
There you go. The glass, we're gonna shatter some glass.
Very cold glass. So
cold glass, hot meat. Oh. All right, this is live. People want to see this. People always take pictures of weird things, and so like the rack keeps it raised out, but nice. Here, John, get in here close. So you're getting tight, so the smoothness is what you want. Probe tender, I don't even care, like 204, 6, that temperature at this point doesn't even matter. It's just nice and smooth when it goes in. Yeah. Probe tender. People learn about probe tender. It's pretty magical. Or not, or whatever you assume is good for you to not scream in the comment section or whatever. And that's a lot smoother, right?
Yeah, it just goes right in.
Yeah, so anyways,
yeah,
so it's so nice and awkward. Oh, yes. Feels so good. Feels so good. Get in there nice and deep like. Are people still watching this video? God. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Alright, so this is when we cut the brisket. Not a lot of live cutting videos. There's plenty of finger bending over videos of when things are done. 203, 209ers for temperature. But we're gonna see where this one goes. This is a fairly wide brisket. So let's cut this down the middle and see what we get in terms of pretty juiciness. This is the part where people like to squeeze it and see the juice pouring out, but it's simply just because of the fat that's kind of running in between that's rendered. It does look good. I mean, there still is plenty of moisture in the rest of the hunk of brisket, but most of the time when people brag about the juice and what's in there, it's simply because of that piece of fat, and that's actually all the juice that is getting squeezed out of said brisket. So here we go. It bends. That's kind of what you want, the accordion style act. So let's close this video out with some just general thoughts about that cook. I'm actually just doing a few things in the garage, but I have a couple other pit bosses as well on top of, I got a big old stick burner. Well, it's not huge. I actually traded this one in recently, or got this one recently from my bigger hog cooker that I just don't use anymore. There was a big old trailer pull behind. So barbecue can be cooked which it seems like is a hard concept for folks to grasp onto almost at any temperature. I mean, you can go 200, you can go 350, 400. The higher temperatures, you might have to wrap a little bit earlier and kind of watch, you know, to make sure things that they don't get burnt. But for cooking big hunks of meat, you can get them done in a rather quick time. And my other pit bosses are around here, so we can take a tour. I don't know why people watch these videos. You're like, why is this guy just wandering around his yard, right? So, but whether you're cooking on, I got an egg under there. I got 3 drums out here, and these are meant to cook hot and fast. Most of the drum have kind of started the hot and fast craze, and this is my CH5, which we didn't cook on in the video. We were at my buddy's house cooking on his. But just, you know, keep in mind, time and temperature, they're good guides. They can help you to get there, but 203 is not a magic temperature. Like if I had to tell a guy who's never cooked anything, maybe that's something good to throw out. But learning what probe tenderness feels like is a pretty good skill to have. There's some crappy videos in my toolbox here on YouTube that actually show probing fairly intricately with some weird music playing. But in mine, I also don't run the water pan. I just do a foiled full pan, catches pretty much all of the drippings, reduces the mess. The water pan in these, it doesn't add moisture, not in this. It's not a true water cooker, and it doesn't, for me at least, help stabilize anything. So I've taken mine out. Leave it in if you like it, right? But it's just interesting on this forum. I don't see many, or in this group, I don't see many people having articulate conversations around temperature and how things can be cooked. It's just screaming from one end to the other versus having actual real conversations that are valuable that teach. So that's what this video is about, or it taught nothing, and maybe I'm just on a high horse around how I do it. But cook some ribs the other week at 250. Crazy, right? All right. Well, that's pretty much it. I hope folks get to the end of this and you're like, there's not going to be a subscription added to this YouTube channel. If anything, people are commenting, put comments about how garbage this is, I don't even know where we're at now. We're at probably 15, 20 minutes, right, of life if you've made it this far. So comments below on what you liked or didn't like, preferably starting a fight about, no, it's got to be 225 or 206 is the perfect temperature, more of that. So get those comments rolling. They're always cute and hilarious. But hopefully this might help somebody to realize that it's not just, you know, 1 hour per pound. Things like meat thickness can certainly come into vary. I have had 20-pound briskets finish ahead of 15s. It just kind of varies depending on what you do. But think about it at a high level. Seasoned meat, put it in the smoker. Wrap at some point. Some people say 160 is the magical wrapping temperature. I kind of wrap by color, so find out what works for you. But this is just to show you don't have to spend an entire day cooking, and there's nothing wrong with sitting around for 12, 14 hours cooking a hunk of meat. 24 seems a little bit long, but even that's okay. Wow, I added like 3.5 minutes to this video at the end here, and I'm just literally staring at this cooker. There's no additional like visual value that's occurring, other than people wondering, is it going to stop? And I don't have a good answer for that. I really